Nobody believed in this trashed combat ship. I bought it for 5 credits and shocked everyone. The Orion Rift spaceport was alive with chaos. Ships of all sizes hummed, beeped, and rumbled along the massive docking bays. Aliens with shiny scales, tentacles, and bioluminescent patterns walked alongside hovering cargo pods, their voices a mix of clicks, chirps, and tones humans could barely imitate. Among the crowds, a single human figure weaved with purpose, dodging low-flying drones and impatient traders. That figure was Kale Dorr. Kale was small, wiry, and scrappy. He had to be. Humans were a minority in Orion Rift, seen as fragile, clever, but weak. Kale had learned to survive by relying on brains, speed, and a healthy dose of stubbornness. His eyes scanned the auction boards flickering above the hangars. Today, he had a single goal: buy something cheap, something worthless to everyone else, and turn it into opportunity. He paused in front of a battered combat ship, sitting on the auction pad. Its hull was dented, streaked with rust, and one wing drooped slightly. The paint had faded from bright red to dull pink, and the cockpit canopy was scratched so badly it almost looked like a skull grinning at the crowd. A small plaque beside it read, Model X-77 Battle Cruiser Prototype. Condition: abandoned. Value: minimal. A crowd of aliens clustered around, whispering and laughing. 500 credits, and you get a pile of trash. One slick-looking reptilian merchant hissed to a squid-like friend, his multiple eyes gleaming with amusement. I wouldn't touch it with my claws. Kale's lips curled into a grin. Trash. That was perfect. Trash hid secrets. Trash hid potential. He'd made a career turning junk into treasure before, but nothing like this. The auctioneer, a tall insectoid with multiple arms, raised his voice. Next item. This X-77 prototype. Condition: decrepit. Lowest bid accepted. 5 credits. The crowd snickered. 5 credits? A joke. Kale didn't hesitate. With a flick of his wrist, he placed a small pile of credits on the counter. I'll take it, he said. Laughter erupted. Tentacles slapped desks. Metallic mandibles clicked. This human is insane, someone hissed. 5 credits for a death trap? Kyle ignored them. Insane is good, he muttered under his breath, stepping closer to his prize. As the auctioneer finalized the sale, Kale ran his hands along the ship's hull. Rust crunched under his fingertips. Small dents dotted the surface like battle scars. The landing gear squeaked as it lowered to the hangar floor. To anyone else, it was worthless. But Kale could feel the ship's heartbeat, faint as it was, hiding beneath layers of neglect. Kale froze. What? He asked, peering into the scratched canopy. I said, my name is Lyra. You bought me, finally. I've been waiting a long time. Kyle blinked. Then, realization hit. The X-77 had an AI on board, and not just any AI. It sounded human, or close enough. You? Talk? Kale asked. Yes. I have been dormant since the last crew abandoned me. Systems degraded, power unstable. But I see potential in you, Kale. Kale chuckled, half in disbelief. Potential, huh? I guess that's something we humans understand better than anyone. Lyra hummed in agreement. Yes, but we have work to do. We are underestimated. Everyone believes we are worthless. Let's prove them wrong. Kyle's grin widened. I like the sound of that. He spent the next few hours exploring the ship. The interior was cramped, with peeling paint, flickering lights, and wires dangling like vines in a jungle. Most systems were offline, but Lyra guided him, highlighting salvageable controls and hidden compartments. Kale found storage bays with old weapon parts, cracked sensor panels, and a damaged hyperdrive module. He imagined what he could do with it all. Outside, the crowded Orion Rift whispered and watched. Alien traders bet that Kale wouldn't even make the ship leave the hangar alive. One particularly loud Varkilian shouted, "That human will be dead before the sun sets on Orion Rift." Kyle ignored them. Alien taunts were background noise. Focus was what mattered. By evening, Kale powered up the ship for a test. Sparks flew. Alarms blared. Smoke puffed from the engine exhaust. The hull groaned as if waking from a century-long slumber. Kale gripped the controls, leaning into the rattling cockpit. "Hold tight," he muttered to Lyra. "Let's see what you've got." The engines roared to life. Not smooth, not elegant, but alive. The ship shuddered, lifted off, and skidded across the hangar floor. Crew and onlookers ducked as the X-77 scraped the roof beams. Kale steered with careful precision, dodging the support struts. "Not bad for trash," he said, eyes sparkling. "You still got fight in you. We are underestimated. That is our strength. Use it wisely." Just then, alarms shrieked from outside. A bounty patrol, a squad of alien enforcers, had locked onto his signature. Their sleek black ships glimmered with cutting-edge energy shields and plasma cannons. They didn't care he had just bought the X-77. They wanted him detained. Kale's grin widened. "Looks like we're getting our first challenge, Lyra. Ready?" Lyra responded calmly, calculating escape probability. Low. But with human improvisation, possible. Kale laughed. Improvisation was his specialty. He slammed the throttle, dodging a plasma blast. The X-77 groaned under the strain, but held together. Using its damaged wings as makeshift shields, Kale twisted and dove between hangars, weaving through ships and cargo containers. The alien patrol couldn't keep up with his erratic, unpredictable movements. Kale flicked a control switch, sending a cloud of reflective debris from a nearby salvage heap. Laser blasts bounced harmlessly off the floating metal shards. Another patrol ship misfired, overheating its weapons. Kale zipped through the chaos, finally escaping the docking zone and blasting into open space. He exhaled heavily, heart pounding. "Not bad, huh?" "You have potential, Kale, but potential is not enough. We will need more than luck to survive out here." "I know, but that's what makes it fun. Everyone thinks this is trash, but they're about to see trash can bite." As he flew into the starlit expanse, Kale looked back at Orion Rift. The spaceport grew smaller, the crowd still murmuring behind him. But Kale didn't care about their laughter anymore. He had something they didn't: faith in human ingenuity, courage, and a ship full of secrets waiting to be unlocked. He punched the ship's throttle. The X-77, battered and rusty, surged forward. It groaned, sparks flew, and the engine's hum became a steady growl. Kale could feel it responding to him, as if the ship itself understood that its new owner was no ordinary human. "First day," Kale whispered, "and already making history. Let's see how far we can go." Far away, in the shadowed sectors of Orion Rift, alien eyes followed his departure. Whispers of the mad human and his Junker began to circulate. Some laughed, others frowned, but none could predict what was coming. Kale Dor had a 5-credit ship, a quirky AI, and a galaxy ready to underestimate him. And he planned to shock everyone. Kale Dor drifted through the empty void beyond Orion Rift. The stars stretched like silver threads across the black canvas of space. His fingers traced the edge of the worn cockpit controls. The X-77 creaked under its own weight, but it was alive. Lyra's soft, melodic voice hummed from the console. "You did well escaping the patrol, Kale," she said. "But survival is only the first step. The galaxy doesn't forgive mistakes. I like it when the galaxy underestimates me. Makes things interesting." Lyra clicked softly. "This ship has secrets, abandoned systems, hidden capabilities. You've only scratched the surface." Kale's brow furrowed. "Hidden capabilities? Like what?" Lyra's display lit up, highlighting the ship's skeleton. Sensors buried under the hull. Weapon mounts deactivated for decades. Engine cores that can be stabilized with minimal repair. And the hull alloy, stronger than most modern combat ships. "So you're saying, even though everyone laughs at us, we might actually fight?" Lyra hummed with amusement. "Precisely." The idea made Kale's pulse quicken. Humans had always been underdogs, small, fragile, overlooked. But ingenuity was their true strength. He could see it clearly now. The X-77 wasn't just a rusty hunk of metal. It was a sleeper predator, waiting for the right mind to awaken it. Scavenging the stars. Kale set a course for the ruins of Sargas, a region littered with abandoned ships, asteroid debris, and ancient space stations. It was a graveyard that humans had long avoided. Too dangerous, too unpredictable. But Kale had nothing to lose, and the X-77 needed parts. As he navigated through floating wrecks and shattered satellites, he thought about how others saw him, a foolish human, gambling 5 credits on trash. Even in Orion Rift, most traders dismissed humans as clever but weak. They're going to learn, Lyra. They're going to learn what humans can do. Potential is nothing without action. Let's test yours. Using makeshift tools, Kale began repairs on the X-77. He rewired broken conduits, patched cracks in the hull with scavenged alloy, and jury-rigged the energy distribution system. Lyra assisted, coordinating diagnostics, running simulations, and suggesting unconventional fixes. Hours turned into days. Kale slept in short bursts, fueled by coffee and sheer stubbornness. The X-77 slowly began to hum with life. Sensors blinked online. Shields flickered into existence. Weapon ports extended from hidden recesses. Kale grinned when he saw the results. "This is going to shock the galaxy," he muttered. 5 credits, and we're already better than half the fleets out there. Lyra clicked with amusement. Confidence is human, yes, but now comes the test. The first trial. As Kale prepared for a test flight in the asteroid belt, a sudden alert flashed across the console. Pirates. A fleet. Outnumbering us 5-1. Kale's grin widened. Perfect. Let's see if trash can bite. The pirates were sleek, black ships, engines glowing ominously. They must have tracked him from Orion Rift. Lyra analyzed their formations. Probability of escape, 12%, she said. Coolly. Pale laughed. Then we'll make the impossible possible. He twisted the X-77 sharply, dodging the first salvo of plasma blasts. Sparks flew as the alien weapons slammed into asteroids nearby, the rocks shattering into tiny floating shards. Kale used the debris as cover, weaving unpredictably. Lyra guided him. The ships rely on formation flying. Disrupt their pattern, then strike where they least expect. Humans were clever because they could improvise. He pushed the X-77 to its limits, flipping, spinning, and diving. He activated hidden thrusters Lyra had uncovered. For a moment, it felt like flying through a storm of stars and fire, controlled only by instinct and trust in the AI. Then he struck the X-77's hidden energy pulse, a weapon nobody had touched in decades. Fired from a concealed port, a pirate ship's shields overloaded, sending it spinning out of control. Another collided with a floating satellite. Chaos erupted. By the time Kale emerged from the asteroid belt, the pirates were retreating. Against all odds, he had survived, and even won. Lyra's voice was calm, almost proud. Your improvisation was remarkable. The X-77 responded well to your creativity. Kaya laughed. Remind me never to be underestimated again. Reputation begins. News of the mad human in a trash ship spread across Orion Rift. At first it was whispers, then rumors. Traders who once mocked Kale started paying attention. Alien fleets, once certain humans were weak, began scanning his movements with curiosity. Kale noticed subtle changes in the way people looked at him. A sly wink from a fellow scavenger here, a nod of respect from a small colony ship there. Even minor factions began offering him small jobs, courier missions, escort duties, and salvage runs, all dangerous, but all opportunities to prove human ingenuity. Kale took them. Every run was a chance to test the X-77. Every obstacle, an opportunity to innovate. Lyra noted patterns in the galaxy's fleet movements, helping Kale anticipate attacks and avoid traps. Slowly, Kale realized the truth. Humans could survive, and even thrive, where others feared to tread. Discovery of the core secret. One evening, while examining the ship's main engine core, Kale stumbled upon something extraordinary. Beneath the layers of rust and grime lay a prototype energy matrix, a design far ahead of modern fleets. It wasn't just strong, it was nearly indestructible and could generate bursts of energy far beyond standard weapon systems. Lyra's voice trembled slightly, almost excited. Kael, this is the real power of the X-77. With stabilization, it could rival an entire warship squadron. Kael's eyes sparkled. So this isn't trash after all. It's hidden potential. Everyone else just didn't see it. Lyra hummed. Humans excel where others fail. You are adaptable, creative, willing to take risks. This ship was waiting for someone like you. Kael leaned back, imagining the possibilities. Not just survival, but victory, recognition, and respect in a galaxy that had ignored humans for centuries. The first hint of challenge. Kael wasn't alone in the galaxy. The whispers of his exploits reached the ears of alien overlords, powerful empires who ruled vast swaths of space. To them, a human surviving in a rusty combat ship was a curiosity at best, a threat at worst. One evening, while plotting his next course, Kael noticed a fleet moving along the outer rim. Alien warships, sleek and deadly. Lyra alerted him. They're scouting, she said. Curious, or threatened. Curiosity often turns into challenge. Time to see what they want. He powered up the X-77. Hull patched, engines upgraded, weapons partially restored. The ship was still far from perfect, but now it had something else. Human ingenuity guiding it. Let's give them a show they'll never forget, he said, grinning. Time for the galaxy to start taking humans seriously. End of Part 2. Cliffhanger. As Kael left the ruins of Sargas, plotting a route through uncharted space, sensors blinked urgently. An unknown fleet was converging fast, bigger, faster, more powerful than anything Kael had faced before. Lyra's voice was calm but firm. They are here. And Kael, this is more than a test. This is a warning. Kael gritted his teeth. Warning or not, they've never faced a human like me before. The stars stretched ahead, the black emptiness suddenly full of tension. Kael's battered X-77 hummed, alive with hidden potential. A human underdog, laughed at by the galaxy, was about to show the universe why humans could never be ignored. And this was only the beginning. The galaxy had begun to take notice. Kael Dor, a human with nothing but a rusty combat ship, had escaped impossible odds twice. Stories of his exploits spread like wildfire, whispered across spaceports, HoloNet forums, and pirate dens. They called him the mad human in the rusted X-77, a joke to some, a curiosity to others, and a rising threat to anyone who underestimated humans. Kael didn't care about the nicknames. What mattered was proof. Proof that humans could survive, adapt, and even outsmart far superior fleets. The human colony at Ardeen. 5. Kael's next stop was Ardeen. 5. A human colony on the edge of known space. The colony had been struggling under constant pressure from a marauding alien faction, the Kryn Dominion, who taxed resources, threatened ships, and enslaved laborers. Kael had no grand plan. He never did. But humans had inventiveness, courage, and improvisation, and he knew that was enough. When he arrived, the colony was in chaos. The Kryn fleet leaned over the planet, massive ships casting shadows over cities, their weapons charging ominously. Panic swept through the streets. Connolly leaders cowered in the command hub. Kael leaned against his console, grinning. Looks like someone needs a human miracle, he muttered to Lyra. Lyra's voice was calm, analytical. Probability of success, extremely low. We will need creativity over firepower. Kael chuckled. Perfect. Humans never needed sheer firepower to survive anyway. Prepping the defense, Kael and Lyra spent the next few hours preparing. He scanned the colony's meager defense satellites and combined them with the X-77's hidden systems. Lyra mapped attack routes and weak points in the Kryn fleet formation. Kael knew they couldn't face the Kryn head-on, but humans were unpredictable. That was their edge. He rigged improvised decoys from old mining drones, programming them to mimic the X-77's energy signature. He strengthened the colony's shield arrays with repurposed energy cores. and he studied the Kryn ship's patterns, predicting how they would move in battle. When the first Kryn scouts appeared, Kale's human cleverness took over. He launched the decoys, energy beams fired at multiple false targets. Confused, the scouts misfired, crashing into asteroids and debris fields. Kale's X-77 weaved through the chaos, firing selectively, targeting weak points in enemy armor with hidden energy pulses. The colony watched in disbelief. One human in a rusty, trash ship was fighting back against the Kryn Dominion. Cleverness over firepower. The battle raged. Kale didn't have the strongest weapons or the fastest engines, but he had strategy and improvisation. Lyra guided him, predicting enemy maneuvers, while Kale executed daring flips, dives, and energy bursts. A Kryn warship opened fire. Kale twisted the X-77 sharply, letting its hull absorb a portion of the energy while redirecting the rest into a nearby asteroid. The explosion sent shrapnel into another enemy ship. One by one, he disrupted their formation, forcing panic. Lyra's voice hummed with approval. Your unconventional tactics are highly effective. They do not anticipate human unpredictability. That's because no one does, Lyra. Never underestimate humans. By the end of the day, the Kryn fleet retreated, battered, and humiliated. The colony erupted in cheers. Children waved from rooftops. Laborers hugged each other, and leaders bowed to Kale in gratitude. For the first time, humans weren't just surviving. They were winning against overwhelming odds. Rising reputation across the galaxy, news of Kale's success spread faster than a supernova. Across the sectors, humans gained respect, fear, and curiosity. Traders who had once mocked him began to offer resources, weapons, and allies. Alien fleets adjusted patrol routes when rumors of Kale's X-77 arose. Even small colonies sent requests for Kale to aid in defense. Kale reveled in it, but he remained cautious. The galaxy was unpredictable, and each victory painted a target on his back. Lyra spoke during one quiet moment in the cockpit. Kale, the Kryn victory has drawn attention. Stronger forces will test us next. They will not tolerate a human rewriting the rules. Causity. Good. Let them come. We humans didn't survive by hiding in the shadows. We survived by standing tall and fighting smart. The alien challenge. Weeks later, while Kale was repairing the X-77 after minor skirmishes with rogue pirates, an urgent alert flashed across Lyra's console. Warning. Unidentified fleet detected. High probability of engagement. They are large, elite. Kale's eyes narrowed. Elite? Like, the galaxy's strongest? Lyra's response was calm, almost clinical. They have been monitoring your exploits. This is not coincidence. It is a challenge, one that may determine the place of humans in this sector. A challenge, huh? Humans love challenges. Let's see if they know who they're dealing with. The fleet emerged from hyperspace. 10 massive warships, each bristling with advanced weapons, shields, and AI-guided defenses. The alien commander's insignia glowed, a symbol of dominance across multiple systems. Kale could feel the weight of the galaxy's eyes, yet he didn't flinch. He leaned into the controls. The X-77 creaked and groaned, but it responded. This is it, Lyra. Time to show them humans are not weak. The first engagement. The alien fleet moved in formation, confident and ruthless. Kale, knowing he could not match them in raw firepower, relied on human ingenuity and unpredictability. He led the X-77 in erratic patterns, dodging energy beams, using asteroids and debris as cover, and striking at weak points identified by Lyra. One warship fired a concentrated plasma volley. Kale twisted the X-77 sharply, letting the blast strike a floating derelict instead, which exploded into a cloud of shrapnel that damaged another enemy ship. Lyra calculated probabilities. Your maneuvers are highly effective. If sustained, we may force retreat. Joshua's grin widened. Sustained? That's the human way. Never give up. Never stop thinking. He activated the X-77's hidden pulse engines, launching short bursts that threw enemy targeting systems off. Another warship attempted a flanking maneuver. Kale's improvised countermeasure, firing a repurposed energy core, sent it spinning uncontrollably. The alien commander's voice crackled over long-range comm. "Human, you are unexpected. Cease resistance, or be destroyed. Unexpected is my specialty." As the battle continued, small human colonies and fleets previously ignored began joining Kale. His daring actions inspired them to rise up. Using the X-77 as a beacon, humans coordinated ambushes, used asteroid fields as traps, and launched guerrilla-style attacks on the superior alien fleet. The tide slowly turned. What started as one human in a rusty ship became a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Alien forces that once laughed were now forced to respect human unpredictability. Victory and reputation solidified. By the end of the engagement, the alien commander withdrew, unwilling to risk further losses. Kale's name and the X-77's silhouette became legendary across multiple systems. Humans everywhere whispered, "If Cal can do it, maybe we can too." Cal didn't bask in glory for long. He knew the galaxy would not forget this victory. Stronger enemies would come. But for the first time, humans were no longer underdogs in the eyes of the galaxy. They were worthy opponents, clever strategists, and fearless innovators. Lyra's voice, usually calm and analytical, carried a hint of pride. "KL, your actions have changed perceptions. Humans are now respected and feared." KL looked out at the stars. The X-77, once trash, had become a symbol of human potential. "Trash with potential," he muttered, smiling. "That's what humans are." Don't forget it. End of Part 3. Cliffhanger. Weeks later, Kale's sensors detected a massive fleet moving from the inner systems. Not just any fleet, a personal armada led by the alien overlord who had dismissed humans for centuries. His warships were faster, bigger, and bristling with the latest technology. Lyra's voice was serious. "Kale, this is not a test. This is a confrontation that may determine the future of humanity in this sector." Kale gritted his teeth, hands gripping the controls. "Let them come. Humans didn't survive by shrinking from threats. We adapt, improvise, and fight smarter than anyone expects. This ends with us standing tall." The stars ahead seemed to darken as the alien armada approached. Kale's battered X-77 groaned under the strain of upgrades and patched systems. But humans had something no one else did: creativity, courage, and the will to defy expectations. And Kale was ready to show the galaxy exactly why humans could never be ignored. Kyle Dorr stared at the massive warships glinting against the void ahead. The alien overlord's fleet was a living wall of steel, firepower, and advanced technology. Each ship was larger, faster, and deadlier than anything Kale had ever faced. His X-77 groaned under the strain of its patched engines, hull reinforced with scavenged alloys, and weapon systems jury-rigged from ancient blueprints. Once, this had been trash. Now it was humanity's spear in a galaxy that had long underestimated them. Lyra's voice hummed calmly in the cockpit. "Probability of survival, extremely low. Probability of victory, minimal. However, unconventional tactics can tip the scales." Al smirked, fingers flying over the controls. "Minimal isn't zero. Let's show the galaxy what humans are made of." The opening salvo of our fleet moved in perfect formation, each ship's energy shields glowing with lethal intensity. A single volley of plasma fire could have destroyed the X-77 instantly. Kale's heart raced, but he relied on the trait humans had always possessed: imagination under pressure. The first salvo of energy beams streaked toward him. Kale twisted the X-77 sharply, dodging, weaving, and diving through the asteroid field he had plotted as cover. Lyra coordinated, predicting the enemy's targeting algorithms. "Trust me, Lyra," Kale said with a grin. "Time for improvisation." He activated the X-77's hidden pulse engines, generating short bursts of speed and energy that threw off the alien targeting systems. One of their ships misfired, colliding with a drifting derelict. Sparks flew. "Excellent," Lyra noted. "Your unpredictability is effective against their automated systems. Humans don't follow patterns. That's why we survive." Cleverness against power. Kale knew he could not fight the alien fleet in a straight battle. Instead, he used their confidence against them. He sent decoy drones, programmed to mimic the X-77's energy signature. The Overlord's ships fired, wasting precious energy on false targets. Then, Kale struck. Using the X-77's hidden energy pulse, a weapon buried beneath layers of abandoned systems, he overloaded the shields of the nearest ship. A massive explosion rocked the void. Another ship, distracted by the decoys, collided with debris Kale had maneuvered into its path. "Keep moving," Kale yelled. "We're not here to take them head-on. We're here to make them think twice about humans." Lyra's sensors picked up vulnerabilities in the alien formation. Their fleet relies on precision and formation discipline. Disrupt that pattern, and we create openings. Kale's grin widened. "Disrupt it we shall." The turning point, Kale performed daring maneuvers, flipping the X-77 around asteroid clusters and narrow debris fields. He unleashed bursts from the hidden energy pulse, targeting shield nodes and propulsion cores. One by one, alien ships fell into confusion. Their automated systems fired on each other. The alien overlord's flagship approached, massive and deadly, shielded by layers of reinforced armor. Kale knew he could not face it directly. Instead, he devised a human solution, a combination of trickery, timing, and unconventional tactics. He lured the flagship toward a dense asteroid field. Using the X-77's pulse engines, he dodged through tight spaces, forcing the flagship to follow. Its massive size made it slow, clumsy, and vulnerable. Kale fired strategically placed energy bursts, causing rocks to explode into shrapnel. The flagship took damage, but more importantly, it was off balance. Lyra's voice hummed softly. "Humans are remarkably effective when using the environment to their advantage." Kale chuckled. "Remarkably? We just call it survival instinct. Humans inspire humans." The battle wasn't just Kale versus the Overlord fleet. Humans across multiple systems, inspired by his earlier victories, coordinated attacks. Small fleets joined in, using guerrilla tactics, asteroid traps, and clever strategies to hit the alien ship's weak points. Kale became the beacon of human ingenuity, leading from the front in his battered X-77. Each maneuver he executed inspired other humans to act boldly, proving that brains could triumph over brute force. The alien overlord barked orders over long-range comms, trying to reorganize his fleet, but the human unpredictability had shattered their formation. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and panic spread through the alien ranks. The final duel, at the heart of the chaos, the Overlord's flagship loomed over Kale. Its cannons charged, its shields flaring. Kale's X-77, battered and patched, stood alone against overwhelming firepower. Lyra spoke softly. "This is the critical moment, Kale. Your choices now will define the outcome. I don't plan to lose. Humans never give up. Never." He executed a daring maneuver, weaving through debris while launching pulse blasts at the flagship's shield generators. The Overlord's weapons fired, missing by mere meters, as Kale's unpredictable flips, rolls, and bursts made him nearly impossible to hit. With a final calculated strike, Kale fired the X-77's full pulse core, destabilizing the flagship's main reactor. Alarms blared, energy shields faltered, and the massive ship shook violently. The flagship drifted, powerless, as Kale zipped past, leading the remaining alien ships into chaos. The rest of the Overlord's fleet, witnessing the destruction and disruption, began retreating. Humans, once dismissed as weak, had forced the galaxy's most powerful alien into withdrawal. Victory and recognition. Silence fell after the chaos. The stars sparkled, the void returning to its calm, indifferent beauty. Kale's X-77 floated among drifting wrecks, smoke and sparks still trailing from damaged systems. Lyra's voice was calm but carried pride. "Kale, the humans have proven themselves. Your actions have shifted perceptions. The galaxy must now acknowledge human potential. Exhausted but exhilarated, we're not just survivors, Lyra. We're fighters, thinkers, and unpredictable. That's what makes us human. Across multiple systems, humans cheered. Colony leaders, traders, and small fleets celebrated the impossible victory. Kale's exploits had sparked a movement, proving that humans could compete with and even outwit the galaxy's strongest. A symbol of human ingenuity, the X-77, once dismissed as worthless, had become a symbol of human resilience and creativity. The ship's battered hull, patched engines, and hidden weapons were not flaws. They were proof that humans could make the most of what others discard. Kale looked at the ship, fingers brushing the worn controls. 5 credits, he muttered with a grin. 5 credits and a little human ingenuity. That's all it took. Lyra hummed softly. You have changed the course of human history, Kale. They will remember this day. Kale smiled. And they'll remember this ship too. Not just trash. Legendary. The galaxy will not forget. Kale didn't rest long. The galaxy was vast, and new challenges would rise. But humans had proven a point. Intelligence, courage, and creativity could match any fleet, any empire, and any technology. Underestimated humans had become a force to reckon with. Even the alien overlord retreating into the depths of space would remember the name Kale Dorr and his battered 5-credit X-77. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Never underestimate a human. Kale stared at the stars ahead, his battered ship humming with life. Humans, he whispered, we're just getting started. And the galaxy will never be the same. The galaxy will never be the same. The cab process surged forward, a small, patched-up combat ship flying through the stars, carrying human ingenuity, courage, and the promise that the underdogs could shock the universe. The legend of Kale Dorr had begun.